action figure enthusiasts out there, JC here, and welcome to a Friday edition of TNInews. And let's just jump right into the news for today, and let's start off with some news on the McFarlane toy front. So going up for pre-order today are those three, the new Batman Adventure 6-inch figures. These are reissues from the original DC Collectibles line. The three figures that went up for pre-order today include Batman, Scarecrow, and Riddler. So these are $24.99 each. You can get them at places like Big Bad Toy Store, Entertainment Earth, and Amazon has them available for pre-order as well. And then going up for pre-order next week on November 27th at 12 p.m. Eastern Time will be a new DC Multiverse 2-pack featuring updated versions of Batman versus Professor Zoom from Flashpoint. So we've gotten versions of these characters before in the Multiverse line. All we have is the preview image at this time, so I don't know if the Batman figure will come with a masked head or if it will just be the unmasked head. We haven't had a look at all the accessories as of yet, but again, there is a new DC Multiverse 2-pack that will be going up for pre-order again next week on November 27th at 12 p.m. Eastern Time, and it should be available pretty much everywhere that carries DC Multiverse. And then finally, from McFarlane Toys, they've launched a new crowdsourcing campaign. This is for some statue-type items for DC. They announced these actually at New York Comic Con. This is essentially called corner box wall art. So these are supposed to mimic the little corner images in the comic books up in the top left corner of the comics with the company logo and then the character that the comic is based on. So in particular, we're talking about Batman and Superman. Now, this crowdfunding campaign, which launched earlier this week, has already met its minimum funding goal of $50,000. As I'm filming this, we are at $83,398.52. So again, this is definitely going to be moving forward into production. Though you may recall last time they did one of these with the DC Superpowers line, even though it didn't meet the minimum funding goal or the original funding goal, they ended up essentially moving forward with it anyway. But with this one, there's no doubt. Now, there are regular versions. You can buy either both Superman and Batman. You can get individually. And then there's also autograph versions. You've got the regular versions are $99 each. If you buy a set, it's $180. Then there is the autograph Batman, which is $129.99. The autograph Superman, which is $129.99. Or if you buy both autograph versions, it's $260. So again, this is a campaign that is definitely moving forward. These are essentially statues or wall plaques, whatever you want to call them. You essentially hang them on your wall. If this is something that would interest you, then definitely head over to the McFarlane website, their Collector Club drawing board crowdsourcing section of their website, and look to back this campaign now. And you still got a fair amount of time. There's over 18 days to go before this campaign ends. And while we're on the subject of crowdsourcing campaigns, let's jump over to Hasbro. We are now just over 10 days to go before the Ghostbuster Plasma Series Ecto-1 Haslab campaign comes to an end. As of right now, it is still falling short of its minimum funding goal of 12,000 backers. We are currently sitting at 9,356 backers. It has not been moving much, but I still think there's a fairly decent chance that this will end up getting backed in the last few days of the campaign. I think we'll see probably a big enough surge at the end that this will end up reaching the 12,000. There are no stretch goals with this campaign. You may remember that originally they were going to offer the Louis Tully figure as an early bird figure, but then when Hasbro saw that it wasn't going to reach the minimum goal within that 2-week cutoff, that they went on and just said that the Tully figure would be included as long as it reaches the minimum 12,000. So we'll have to wait and see if it actually does. Again, we are just over 10 days, so less than 2 weeks to go before this campaign ends. If this is something that you want to add to your collection, you might want to think about going on and getting ready to back it. They won't actually charge you until the campaign ends, and assuming it does reach its minimum goal. If it doesn't, then you don't get charged anything. But as I say, the campaign still has several thousand to go, over 2,000 to go before it reaches its minimum goal, and just over 10 days to go before the campaign ends. And then also for you Marvel Legend fans, don't forget that we are in the final 4 days before the made to pre-order X-Men 97 Sentinel pre-order window closes. So you have that long if you haven't already decided to grab one or at least one, you might want to army build this one. But again, the pre-order window for this one, it's not a Haslab, so it's not there's no minimum goals, but there is a pre-order window, and once the window closes, at least according to what Hasbro says, you won't get another opportunity at this figure. So it's $174.99, and again, this campaign is going to be ending on November 26th. And Hasbro will not charge you for this one until it actually ships, which according to them will be October 2025. So you don't have to have the money for this one right away. But again, if you do want to add at least one of these to your collection, you've only got a few days left to go. And then let's keep it with Marvel Legends. We had a couple of new pre-orders. Well, I don't know if I really want to go as far as say new, but we had a couple of things for Marvel Legends that went up for pre-order this week. All essentially reissues. So for Marvel Legend figures themselves, those two MCU reissues, the Spider-Man and Captain America figures went up for pre-order. These are $24.99. They come in the blue box packaging. They are just straight up reissues, so nothing new here if you already have these figures, but these are basically being done for those who maybe have come to the line late and missed out on the original release of these figures. And these will be offered at physical stores like Target and Walmart as well. So again, if you need these and want to add them to your collection, you can pre-order them at places like Big Bad Toy Store and Entertainment Earth now. And then also going up for pre-order this week for Marvel was a reissue of that Captain America role-play replica shield. So this one is technically based on the new Captain America Brave New World movie, but again, this one, I'm not sure there's really anything different about this one than the previous one that they released. In fact, I will even say that Entertainment Earth didn't actually put this new one up for pre-order. They still have the previous one that Hasbro did available, but you can if you want to pre-order this newest one with the Brave New World packaging. It's $129.99 and available at our sponsor, Big Bad Toy Store. Now, one other bit of news I want to touch on in regards to Marvel Legends. Some of you have asked, in fact, this question came up again this week in one of my live streams, wondering about, when or might Hasbro lose the Marvel Legend license. And Hasbro's Marvel team, Dwight back during MCM London, and then again today, Dan Yun on the social media platform X, have made it pretty clear that they have the license to do Marvel Legends stuff through 2026. So that is at least 2 more years, 2025 and 2026, according to Dan Yun's post. And again, Dwight Stahl said something similar back during MCM London, that they are already planning out the figures that they're going to be releasing in the year 2026. Now, the actual date for when the current license between Disney and Hasbro for Marvel and Star Wars as well was never made public. It was originally announced that it had been extended, from when originally it was the original license was going to end in 2013, and then it was extended till 2020. In 2022, they actually said that they had expanded the license to include Indiana Jones products because there was the new movie coming out. Those figures came and went in 2023. But again, it's not actually known when the current license expires between Disney and Hasbro. My guess is it probably will be expiring at the end of 2026 unless Hasbro and Disney extend those licenses, which I think is possible, assuming Hasbro actually wants to continue to make action figures. And that to me is really the biggest question. I think Hasbro and Disney's relationship is strong enough that if Hasbro wants to continue to be able to do Marvel and Star Wars figures, that Disney isn't going to pull that license away from them and give it to someone else. In fact, I'm not even sure there's another toy company out there that could really do that good a job with those licenses. And I know a lot of people, it's always fun to bash Hasbro and say they suck, but the reality is those are huge licenses. They go well beyond just the 6-inch collector-oriented figures. There's a lot of kids products, And so it takes a toy company with, the capacity to be able to handle a license like that and have a strong foothold in all the major retailers, not just, online, but places like Target and Walmart as well. And so, when you really look at the overall toy landscape and the toy manufacturing landscape today, I don't think there are a lot of options. Obviously, a Mattel, somebody like that, could handle the license, but I'm not sure fans would really be happy if it was ever announced that Mattel was going to take over doing Marvel figures. I mean, just going by the reactions that we used to get when Mattel had the DC license. McFarlane, I mean, maybe. I know Todd McFarlane would love to get his hands on something like the Marvel Legends license, but I feel like Disney would have to be willing to split the license like they did, like Warner Brothers did with DC, because you may recall McFarlane got the collector-oriented stuff for DC, but they didn't get the kids stuff that went to Spin Master. So maybe if Disney was willing to do something like that for Marvel, then maybe you could see somebody like McFarlane pick it up. But again, I really have to question if people would really be that enthusiastic about McFarlane getting the Marvel license. I know, again, it's fun to bash Hasbro and say Hasbro figures suck, but I don't really think Marvel Legends suck that badly, especially at that price point. And, a smaller company, if it gets it, somebody on social media mentioned Mondo. I mean, I think Mondo makes some cool stuff, but their stuff is also very expensive. Same with like Super 7. I don't think people would be too happy with, $60 to $100 just normal 6-inch Marvel Legend figures, which I think is what you'd end up seeing with a smaller company. But going back to what I said previously, I am not convinced that Hasbro is actually going to be interested in continuing to make figures come the end of 2026. They might. I'm certainly not saying it's impossible, but everything we've seen from Hasbro more and more indicates that Hasbro is moving away from the traditional, being the traditional toy manufacturing company making things like action figures. They are more and more licensing their brands, the ones that they own, like Transformers and G.I. Joe and stuff, out to other companies. While they still make product for that right now, they are definitely setting a stage where they're letting other toy companies start to produce products based on the licenses they own. And then you're seeing Hasbro put more and more focus on things like their gaming stuff, their trading card games, their video games. It was just announced this week via Bloomberg that Hasbro is no longer going to be co-financing movies based on their properties. Hasbro Studios seems like is basically being dissolved. And they're going to be putting focus on creating a brand new Dungeons and Dragons video game, and I think more video games. For those not familiar, Hasbro's CEO, his name is Chris Cox. He actually comes from Hasbro's Wizards of the Coast division, their gaming division, where he was very successful there, and he took over things, several years ago when Hasbro's previous CEO, Brian Goldner, fairly suddenly passed away. So Goldner was really the one who really was pushing for the movie stuff. He wanted to turn Hasbro into essentially a movie studio entertainment company like that. Whereas now I think the focus is going to be on digital and gaming stuff. And I just personally would not be surprised if Hasbro actually, within the next 3 to 5 years, kind of completely moves away from producing traditional action figures. There also been a lot of talk about Hasbro moving their headquarters out of Rhode Island, which is where the company was founded, and moving it to Boston, Massachusetts. And then another thing to take into account, and I don't want to get too political here, but the new administration coming in campaigned on this idea of implementing higher tariffs on other countries, trying to persuade companies from, having stuff produced outside of the United States. And there's a very good possibility, based on what economists have said, that will in fact cause prices to go up on things like, action figures that are right now made primarily outside of this country. So if prices continue to go up on manufacturing action figures, that could very well be the final nail in the coffin of Hasbro, continuing to produce their own stuff. I think they're going to go to this model where they're essentially going to let others, make products based on their own licenses. And if that's the case, that brings back when the license with Disney expires, is that really something that they're going to actively pursue? And that I really don't know. I think it's possible they might, but I also think it's possible they won't. But I really feel like if the license was to be taken away from Hasbro for Marvel and Star Wars, it would be more that Hasbro just was not that interested in pursuing it. Not that Disney is unhappy with Hasbro and wants to give it to somebody else. But we'll have to wait and see. But again, for the question about Marvel Legends, I think we can all safely say that Hasbro will be doing Marvel Legends at least till the end of 2026, if not longer. Now, keeping it with Marvel, but switching over to Diamond Select Toys, if you are interested in getting a new Deadpool Marvel Select, a 7-inch scale Marvel Select figure based on Deadpool from the new Deadpool and Wolverine movie, I think it was last month that they solicited the Wolverine figure for the Marvel Select line, and now we've got Deadpool. So that went up for pre-order this morning. You can get it at places like Big Bad Toy Store, Entertainment Earth. Deadpool will come with his sword, or swords I should say, his katana swords, the sheaths. He will come with gold pistols like we saw in the movie. He's also going to come with 3 sets of interchangeable eyes, multiple hands, and a knife. So the figure is $30, and again, this went up for pre-order at places like our sponsors, Big Bad Toy Store and Entertainment Earth, and it's supposed to be released in September of next year. And then for you Hot Toy fans, speaking of Deadpool and Wolverine, we've got a new figure in the 12-inch line from Hot Toys that has gone up for pre-order. This one is based on X-23 from that movie. They also teased, I believe I talked about this last week, they teased that it looks like they're going to end up doing like all those characters, Blade, Gambit, Elektra, and X-23 as well. And of course, we already know they're doing Deadpool, some of the Deadpools and Wolverine. But X-23 is the next figure that they're soliciting from that movie. The cost of X-23 is about $280. It's supposed to be released in March 2026, so you've got some ways to go before this figure is actually going to be released. But with this figure, you're going to get 2 hair parts, 4 pairs of hands, a backpack, sunglasses, boot claws, Juggernaut's helmet, and a figure stand. So as I said, this figure is available for pre-order now, though again, it's not going to actually see release until almost the middle of 2026. All right, now let's jump over to Hasbro and Star Wars. So going up for pre-order at Big Bad Toy Store this week was the previous Target exclusive Black Series Shin Hati figure from the Ahsoka series. So again, this was previously offered as a Target store exclusive, but now you can get it at our sponsor Big Bad Toy Store, and I believe they are the only online e-tailer carrying this figure, at least for now. So again, it is available for pre-order at Big Bad Toy Store, and the cost is $24.99. We had several other new Star Wars pre-orders this week as well, also from the Ahsoka series for Black Series, the FX Elite lightsaber based on the Balin character. So that went up for pre-order this week. It is $249.99. That is available pretty much everywhere. And then for you vintage collection fans from the Mandalorian series, a deluxe IG-12 with Grogu set went up for pre-order. That's $24.99, and again, that's pretty much available. Well, I don't know if it's on Amazon, but it is available at places like Big Bad Toy Store and Entertainment Earth. And then the final bit of Star Wars news I have for you today is we got some new preview images for the upcoming MAFEX Stormtrooper figure. So this will be going up for pre-order very soon, at earliest tomorrow. That's the date given, though. I'm not being it's the weekend. You know, some places might not get it up until Monday, but it should be available, I believe, at places like Big Bad Toy Store, Entertainment Earth. Again, it is a new MAFEX Stormtrooper, and pre-orders should be opening up for this one very soon. And keeping it with MAFEX, we also got preview images for a new Dawn of Justice Knightmare Batman. This is version 2.0, because they've done a version of this figure before. But again, this is supposed to be going up for pre-order tomorrow or within the next few days. And it should be available at places like Big Bad Toy Store, and I think Entertainment Earth will probably have this one as well. NECA this week opened up pre-orders for their new Ultimate Nightmare Before Christmas figures. This is Series 1. You can get it at our sponsor Big Bad Toy Store. So Big Bad Toy Store has Jack available as a separate release, or you can buy the entire wave as a set. So that includes Jack, Sally, Santa Jack, and the Mayor figure. So these are 7-inch scale figures. If you buy it as a set, it's going to cost you about $140. And these are supposed to be released in January of next year. And then NECA just today released new official images for their Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles IDW Dark Leonardo figure. So this is based on the Saturday Morning Adventures comic from IDW. They had this figure on display. I believe it was at New York Comic Con. Maybe it was at San Diego as well. I don't remember, but I believe it was definitely at New York Comic Con. So no pre-order date yet given for the figure, but again, they've released these new official images, and when more details become available on when it exactly will be available, I'll be sure to let you know. I believe this will be available pretty much everywhere because it is a comic book based figure. It's not cartoon or movies, so I don't think it'll be like a Target or Walmart exclusive. But again, when more details become available on when exactly this figure will be made available, I'll be sure to let you guys know. And then NECA also released the reveal schedule for the next coming days. So the first two on the schedule we've already seen. That was on 11/20, the Nightmare Before Christmas figures, and then today the 11/22 was the Dark Leonardo. We'll get another reveal on 11/25, and then a fourth reveal on 11/29. And we'll of course have all those reveals up on Toy News International as they happen. All right, and then finally for today, I've got a couple of news bits on the Mattel WWE front. So on December 12th, we will be getting on Target's website the Target exclusive Elite Series Legends Series 25 figures. So this wave is going to include Ravishing Rick Rude, Justin Hawk Bradshaw, Sid or Sid Vicious, however you want to refer to him, and finally Bret the Hitman Hart. So again, this wave is Target exclusive and is supposed to be going up on December 12th. So mark your calendars. Going up for pre-order next week on November 29th on Amazon will be the next WWE Coliseum collection set, which will feature Bam Bam Bigelow and the Big Boss Man. Now, there will be randomly inserted Chase black carded cardback figures like they've done before with this line. So if you order this on Amazon, you could end up getting the Chase versions. The regular versions will have the blue card backs. And then Mattel Creations will also be carrying this set in early 2025. But again, Amazon is getting first dibs on it, and will be going up for pre-order next Friday on the 29th. I don't have an exact time, so probably around 12 noonish, but I don't know for sure on the time. But again, Friday, November 29th is when this set will be made available on the Amazon website. And then finally from WWE, yesterday, Mattel with the folks at Ringside Collectibles held a live stream where they announced a bunch of stuff. I will say, unfortunately, the video quality was not fantastic, so we don't really have great looks at this stuff at this time, but just going down the list of everything that they announced. For the Elite Collection Series 116, it will see AJ Styles, Kevin Owens, Jade Cargill, and Randy Orton. Series 117 will have Naomi, Rhea Ripley, Jimmy Uso, and Seth Rollins. Then for Series 118, it's a Bloodline series with Tama Tonga, Tonga Loa, Sola Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, and finally Jax, who isn't really part of the Bloodline, though kind of is, but at least related wise, but not actually part of the Bloodline. But she is in that wave. And then for Series 119, we're getting Dirty Dom Mysterio, Liv Morgan, Braun Breaker, and Ethan Page. Series 120, we'll see Cody Rhodes and Lola Vice. I'm not familiar with the last character there. And I think there'll be more figures in that wave. That's all they've announced up until this point. Then for Top Picks 2025, we're getting a new Logan Paul figure, CM Punk, and Stone Cold Steve Austin. For SummerSlam 2025, we're getting a new Roman Reigns figure, a 2002 Shawn Michaels figure, along with a 2002 Triple H figure, Charlotte Flair, and this is a Build-A-Figure wave, which will be 2004 William Regal. That will be the Build-A-Figure for that wave. Then from the Vault line, Series 4 will include Bray Wyatt, Cody Rhodes, Ultimate Warrior, and Razor Ramon. Series 5 is going to include Hornswoggle, the Boogeyman, and John Cone. And Series 6 is going to have Cactus Jack, RVD, Scott Hall, and Kevin Nash. For defining moments, we're going to get a new Kurt Angle figure and an ECW Paul Heyman figure. For main events series, for Series 154, we're going to see AJ Styles, Jake the Snake Roberts, Randy Orton, another CM Punk, and Kiana James, blue and green version. So there'll be a chase version there. And then finally for Ultimate Edition, Series 24, we'll see Bray Wyatt, Finn Balor, and Solo Sikoa. Series 25 will have Final Boss, The Rock, Damian Priest, and the Great Muta, which is the figure that we got the updated images for. And then finally Series 26 we'll see Jey Uso, Drew McIntyre, and Jimmy Uso. So the Uso brothers and McIntyre will round out in Series 26. So like I said, we didn't get a lot of great images from the video that they put out yesterday, but a lot of information for you wrestling fans. And when we get better quality images for that stuff, I'll be sure to let you guys know. Okay, so that's all the information I have for you guys today. Now, next week, which is Thanksgiving week, I don't plan on doing any videos. I'm going to be visiting with my dad for Thanksgiving. So, again, don't expect any videos next week. If you have decided to become an action figure enthusiast channel member, and a big thank you to everybody who has done that. And if you are interested in becoming a channel member, there is a link in the video description below on how you can do that. We have created a special area over on the TNI forums for channel members. If you become a channel member, then you'll be able to see a post in the community threads with more details on that. But we are running a contest over there for channel members where you'll be able to win $100 store credit to Big Bad Toy Store. You have until basically next Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving, to enter the contest, and then we'll draw a name on Thanksgiving Day, and one lucky winner will win $100 store credit. Right now, there's at last count, there's 24 channel members. So big thank you, and that's all been within the last week basically. So a big thank you to everybody who has joined. But also that's to say that if you join and then run over and join the group over on the message boards, I call it the Action Figure Enthusiast Clubhouse. And again, it's only open to people who are channel members here on YouTube. Your chances of winning a drawing where at most there might be 24, 25 people entering, and that's if everybody entered, are pretty good. So just another way to say thank you to everybody who goes that little extra mile. It's only 99 cents to become a channel member. And again, it's just my way of saying thank you. We had a contest earlier this week as well here on YouTube for channel members. But again, I just want to give you guys another chance. And yes, I will. We have the regular forum contest over on Marvelous News and TNI for everybody. And at some point we'll be doing, contests for everybody here on YouTube as well, not just channel members. But right now, this is just my way of saying thank you to everybody who has become a channel member, an action figure enthusiast channel member here on YouTube. So again, I do not expect any videos from me next week. We will have any breaking news. Of course, we will have up on the sites as it happens, but don't look for any news videos from me next week unless something, just changes and I decide to do one. But I wouldn't expect it. But I hope everyone has a safe and happy weekend. I hope everyone has a great Thanksgiving. If you are new to this channel, please think about subscribing, hitting the bell notification so you're alerted every time I upload a new video. And until next time, guys, I will catch you guys later. Thanks for watching today's video. Now, if you're new to the channel, please think about hitting that subscribe button. Also hit the bell notification so you're alerted every time I upload a new video. For all the latest action figure news, be sure to head over to ToyNewsEye.com, MarvelousNews.com, JediInsider.com, and TFormers.com. And remember, action figures are great,